What's going on, people? This is John Epiphany back with another sports reaction. Just remember to like and subscribe. I really appreciate if you keep doing it. Just keep liking and subscribing. Keep building up this channel. It will be very dearly to me that if you keep doing that. And now on to talking about our Bears team. They are 5-4, taking on the 3-5 Minnesota Vikings. And so far right now, it seems like our team is definitely trending down, while the Minnesota Vikings continuously can just keep trending up. And I believe that it started right around somewhere in between when the Bears beat the Buccaneers, right around the time when Minnesota had lost that very tight game that they had against Seattle. That things just start going up for them and things just start going down for the Bears. Ever since then, things have not looked good for the Bears. 3 straight losses, and Minnesota has found the way to get a few victories in between that as well. But anyways, let's get to the breakdown. I will be doing a statistical breakdown for each team, but we're going to start the breakdown with our Chicago Bears. And right now we're going to Nick Foles, who actually played a little bit better this week than he did last week. Some can argue because it came in the fourth quarter. A lot of those stats was garbage, but the game was still could possibly been in reach. If they don't have that turnover in the middle of the game could have easily still been in reach with them scoring 17 in the fourth quarter. But we don't know how things would have turned out. But once again, we're starting with Nick Foles, who has completed 187 passes out of 285. He has a 65.6 completion percentage for 1,746 yards, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Up next, we have the running back David Montgomery. Right now, he is being assessed for the protocol of the head trauma, basically as we know as concussions. Hopefully, he can be able to play this game. If not, hopefully they activate Lamar Miller and have a lot of other players ready, because you're going to need them. But right now, David Montgomery is the impact player for this game as well. He has 131 carries for 472 yards, one rushing touchdown. He is only averaging 3.6 yards per carry. If he was on any other team, the way David Montgomery rushed the football, he'll probably be the leading rusher for the Bears. I said for the Bears, but for any other team, basically. But he plays for the Bears. And with this terrible offensive line, it seems like we're wasting just obviously great talent that we have so far. But up next, we have Allen Robinson, who has 57 receptions, 712 yards. He is averaging 12.5 yards per catch, and he has 3 receiving touchdowns. If the Bears cannot get it together, we might fuck around and see this man walk. He wanted to be extended when things were good. Things are just getting worse and worse. And now I'm pretty sure his agent already been in Allen Robinson ear and told him, whatever deal they try to sign you, do not sign it. And at the end of the season, crank that price up as high as possible and see if they're going to match it. If not, he's going to walk. And that's basically what's going to happen. We're going to miss out on another star receiver. Now, this not only him. There's Alshon Jeffrey. And before him was Brandon Marshall. That'd be the third 1,000-yard receiver that the Bears let go because of the inability to get things done for them and be more consistent. Up next, another exciting player for our offense, and that's Darnell Mooney. He has 31 receptions for 348 yards, 11.2 yards per reception, 2 receiving touchdowns. He is becoming more and more our number 2 option. I just hope that he can finish out the entire season just like he's been playing so far this season as well. And our last impact player of the game for the offense is tight end Jimmy Graham, who has 35 receptions for 302 yards. He is averaging 8.6 yards per reception, and he has 5 touchdowns, which leads the team. So hopefully the Bears offense can get it together. Hopefully they can stitch together their offensive line some type of way, because Ryan Pace didn't do his job. Matt Nagy has not been doing his job. What great coaches are supposed to do, and that is hide all those little things that is wrong with your team and turn those into strengths. Good coaches mask your inabilities. Great coaches help you get better at those inabilities and turn those into strengths. Matt Nagy has not done either one since his first year with Chicago that he worked with Mitchell Trubisky. Ever since then, he was like, I want the playbook I want, and I want you to run the playbook that I want you to run. And ever since then, things have not been good for our team. He's so busy trying to be you that he's basically is killing our team. So hopefully that can get straightened out as soon as possible. But now on to the impact players for our defense. I'm only listing 3 impact players for each team for the defense, and also, like I said, 5 impact players for the offense for each team. But on to the defense, we have middle linebacker Roquan Smith, who is leading the team with 82 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 5 pass deflections. The man has been playing lights out. He is the best cover linebacker in the league. And if you don't believe me, look up the stats. He is the best cover linebacker in the league, has the lowest completion percentage, and he's doing basically everything for this Bears team, and hopefully they can just salvage this season, because they are wasting elite defense and elite talent, and the Bears just can't simply depend on the defense to constantly just bail them out. We're going to need points from the offense. We're going to need it consistently, not in one quarter. Going to need at least 14 points. And then that can allow the defense to play lights out. And then if they do that little outburst in the fourth quarter, that can be what seals the game for the Bears. Because if Bears offense can at least put up 14 points early, their defense is going to ball out for us, and they're going to do exactly what they need to do to get that offense the ball again. But on to the next impact player for our Bears defense, we have Eddie Jackson, who has been impacting the game every game of the season. Of course, we all know the story about the referees just taking away every defensive touchdown that he could have had, that basically could have sealed away a lot of games for the Bears. But because of the referees' inability to actually see like everybody need glasses, it messed up a lot of times for the Bears' score outcome, and made it even more difficult for the Bears to basically have to hold on to those wins that they do have early on through the season. But like I said, back to his stat line, he has 51 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery. He returned 1 for a touchdown, and he has 2 pass deflections. So I'm definitely looking forward to Eddie Jackson just having another Eddie Jackson type of game, just balling out, doing everything he can to help this team get that victory. And up next for the impact player for this game is Khalil Mack, who has 33 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 6.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 pass deflections. Now, we all know how critical Khalil Mack can be in games, but this is the game that we definitely need him to be even more critical, because every time Khalil Mack gets to Kirk Cousins like he does, Kirk Cousins just start throwing up lame ducks and just give the Bears every opportunity to win the game. Now, so far, he's been playing up and down this year, Kirk Cousins. So hopefully, let's hope that we get the Kirk Cousins early in the season, and not the Kirk Cousins that's been playing lights out for the past 3 or 4 weeks of the season, and been basically giving opportunities for his team to win. Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, Akeem Hicks, all those guys, everybody underneath them, Urban, Roy Robertson Harris, Bow Nichols, all those guys, Mario Edwards, they're going to have to definitely just put it in high gear and get and put hands on Kirk Cousins on a consistent basis, and also shut down Dalvin Cook, even though I'm going to get to those guys in a minute, and just shut those guys down and make it very, very difficult for this team. You have the cornerbacks, you have the safeties to combat their wide receivers and tight ends downfield. You have a very capable front seven of getting it done, but you're going to have to turn those 3 and outs into turnovers, because it seemed like this offense is not going to be able to do it. So hopefully they get it together defensively even more and be even more dominant. I'm talking 2018 dominant, 2012 dominant, 2006 dominant, at least for the next few weeks, at least for the last 7 games, because the Bears are definitely going to need it if they plan on being in the playoff hunt. Because right now the Bears are just strictly looking like straight up pretenders right now. But like I said, hopefully the Bears can definitely get it together and make this Vikings team basically pay like they always been making them pay since I've been watching football for the longest. They had a few times where they had beat the Bears, but for the most part, the Bears have handled them, and especially the Lions, handily. So let's hope that can be another basic outcome that we expect this Sunday against the Vikings. And talking about this Vikings team, finna go to the breakdown for them. We're going to start off with quarterback Kirk Cousins, who we just discussed earlier. He has 137 completions out of 209 attempts. He has 65.6 completion percentage. He has 1,855 yards passing with 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Like I said before, he started off playing poorly, just piss poor early in the season. And for the past 3-4 weeks, him and the team been trending up. And as good as he played, that's as well as a team just go downfield and then play hard. And they just been finding ways to get the victory. Basically, their defense is playing like I would expect it the defense to be playing. And just everything is trending up for them. So hopefully the Bears can just knock them down a peg and get to Kirk Cousins. And like I said before, let's see how well they do. Dalvin Cook. Now, I did not expect him to have this type of stat line. I thought he would probably finish with a stat line similar to this. Of course, having over 1,000 yards. But goddamn, I didn't expect anyone to be right behind Derrick Henry. But Dalvin Cook is, and he is playing just lights out. He's been doing this almost all season, despite all the struggles that they've been going through. Dalvin Cook is basically one of those guys that you definitely cannot allow to have one of those games. Now, so far, the Bears have not allowed Dalvin Cook to really have any type of impact in any game that I've seen him play. But I fear that this year, this might be that time that he does it, because minus Eddie Goldman not being there, the team not being at full strength, or without Goldman, he probably going to run wild on our team. So far, he has 144 carries for 858 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. I'd even add in his receiving yards, even though it's not a lot. It's probably, I think it's 167 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, 16 receptions. But either way, the man stat line has been lights out so far, and he is doing everything he can to get this Vikings team back in the playoff hunt. And he and his running mate, Alexander Mattison, who has 69 carries for 322 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, has been just playing lights out all season. Like I said, 2 running back tandem, but of course you're going to get Dalvin Cook majority of the time, and you get Mattison to spell him from a few plays in between. But both guys has been running the football exceptionally well, and let's hope the Bears can just find the way to contain that running attack, much like they did with Derrick Henry, which I still don't know how they was able to do it. But they allow a no-name running back for the Rams to dominate them. But you will let a prize running back like Derrick Henry not have the type of game that he's fully capable of having. But hey, it is the NFL. But up next, you have wide receiver Adam Thielen, who's still no matter what, a lights out receiver. Even though to me he's having much more of a down year in terms of receptions and yards, but he's still doing the exact same thing that he's been doing in terms of touchdowns. He has 37 receptions for 480 receiving yards. He is averaging 13 yards per catch, and he has 7 receiving touchdowns. Once again, like I said, he's He's not playing as well as I would expect from my standards, and I'm pretty sure from his standards as well. But that 7 touchdowns is a eye opener for Bears fans, that you definitely gonna have to look out for him, because he can easily find a way to sneak into that end zone like no one other. And up next, you have his fellow wide receiver Justin Jefferson, who is right behind him in almost every category except one. He has 34 receptions for 627 receiving yards. Well, 2 categories. He is averaging 18.4 yards per reception. He has 3 receiving touchdowns. Obviously, he is more of a deep threat than Adam Thielen, and he's been doing it consistently all season, because he has, like I said, 34 receptions for 627 yards. He is obviously a valuable deep threat for this team. Hopefully, Jalen Johnson and Kyle Fuller can find a way to contain these 2 players, because they found the way to be able to do it with Adam Thielen and also another elite receiver that no longer play for them, and that's Stephon Diggs. So hopefully they can have a repeat performance and shut down these 2 guys, because they're going to be a big load for this team. And another guy that definitely killed the Bears for a very long time, despite the fact that the Bears won a majority of games, and that's tight end Kyle Rudolph. Now, he is definitely having a down season, but that does not mean that he can't still light up the Bears. We all seen Jason Old Man Witten, who is still playing and still being a dominant player for his position, and actually has more yards than Kyle Rudolph. But like I said, Kyle Rudolph can still light this Bears team up. He's still an excellent player. Like I said, he has 14 receptions for 175 yards, 12.5 yards per catch, and he has 1 touchdown. Like I said, he can definitely dominate the game. He's been doing it for a very long time. He just getting up there in age, so he's slowing down a bit, but does not mean he can't catch the ball in the end zone and just be a red zone threat, much like Jimmy Graham is for us. And now, transitioning over to the Minnesota Viking defense, we're going to be talking about 3 impact players, like I said once before, for each team. This is the impact players for the Minnesota Vikings, and the main guy that we're going to have to worry about is Eric Kendricks, who has 84 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, 3 pass deflections, and an interception. I've watched him play for the last 3-4 seasons with the Vikings. I can't remember if he played longer, but he has always been at least top 10, top 15 middle linebacker every year that he's been in the league, and he's going to continue to be that. And he's showing that very much this season as well. He is a ball hawk. He is involved in almost every play, so hopefully some way the Bears offensive line can find the way to push him out and be able to find lanes for whoever running the football, if it's not David Montgomery. If not, he's going to have another excellent game, basically, stopping the run and also just covering the tight ends, because he is fully capable of covering the tight ends just as well as any linebacker in the league. And another very good cover linebacker also that plays for the Minnesota Vikings, and that is Eric Wilson. He has 54 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 3 pass deflections, 2 fumble recoveries, and 3 interceptions. Now, that is the stat line for Eric Wilson. He is an outside linebacker. He is one of the best coverage outside linebackers that you're going to find, whether that is zone or in man. So hopefully the Bears tight ends can find the way to get around those 2 guys, because they're going to be the main guys that's going to be focused on Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet. So hopefully the Bears can find the way to get those guys the ball through with the seam routes and out routes and whatever other route they can find to get to our tight ends, because if not, those guys will make those type of plays, either force a fumble or pick the ball off, and they are fast enough to run it back for a touchdown. So hopefully the Bears can get that together as well. And the last guy that the Bears have to worry about, who's been an impact player with the Minnesota Vikings for a very long time, and that is strong safety Harrison Smith, who has 43 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, for 4 pass deflections and 2 interceptions. Now, he is a multiple-time Pro Bowler, hard-hitting safety, also excellent cover skills. So that hopefully the Bears can find the way to get the ball around him, because he will be roaming all over the field, much like a Troy Polamalu type of player, even though he's a lot bigger. But he'll be roaming the field all game. So the Bears definitely going to have to keep an eye on Harrison Smith and see where he is on the field, along with Eric Wilson and Eric Kendricks. And hopefully they can make the type of plays that they need to make, basically to get this victory for our team. Now, do I actually think the Bears can win this game against the Minnesota Vikings? Absolutely. I definitely believe that the Bears have every chance to beat the Minnesota Vikings. But do I also believe that the Minnesota Vikings can turn around and then just tear a mud hole in the Bears' ass? Absolutely, because that offense of the Bears is that bad. That they're college bad. That's how bad that this Bears offense is. They have an NFL type of defense, but they have a college type of offense with a few NFL ready type of players. That's basically what we're looking at here. It's like looking at Alabama. Elite defense, half they players on either offense or defense that year is going to the NFL, and the other half is subpar. But the defense keep bailing them out. That's what I'm seeing with the Bears. So when it come down to it, I have basically 2 outcomes to decide for this teams. And one of the outcomes is the Bears offense find the way to get it done. Defense get a few turnovers, even return 1 or 2 back for a touchdown. Bears offense able to at least score 10 points, and the Bears win this game 24-14. But if the offense basically have another one of those games like they had against the Titans that we just played, the Rams have those type of games, even against the Buccaneers, even though we wind up winning that game as well. They have those type of games, and this Vikings offense come out just busting loose right away, the Bears team will get blown out. So those are my 2 predictions. And this is Jonah Pimney back with another sports reaction. Yet again talking about Chicago Bears, who is 5-4, take on a 3-5 Minnesota Vikings. Once again, remember to like and subscribe, people. Peace out.